Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on our session Upskill through Summer Study Abroad. My name is Lauren Nestler, and I am an Associate Program Director at the System-Wide Office for UCEAP.
Good morning, everyone. I am Noah Cutchins, the other Associate Program Director at UCEAP. And today we're going to upskill through summer study abroad. And to get started, I think we're going to need to talk about what skills you can actually up. So this first slide here is what I call attack of the words. And this is a word cloud that I created by pulling uh, words from about a dozen different articles and publications that discuss study abroad outcomes in terms of career prospects and employability. And this is an area that we often discuss in our field. And we talk about what the outcomes that are most applicable to future career enhancements. And you can see a typical example of a chart that came from one of these studies from the Institute of International Education on the right. It talks about competencies, for example, where we're talking about intercultural skills or curiosity or interpersonal skills. And I think one of the common threads that we see here is there's a lot of what we would term or use the terminology of soft skills. And the challenge, I think, is to understand what these skills are in application to the workforce, and maybe further so what are employers actually looking for? Are these the types of skills that they want? So in the next slide, um, there's a study that came out in 2015 from the Association of American Colleges and Universities that addresses a gap between what employers are seeking and what skills college students believe they need for bettering their career prospects. And I've seen similar studies as this emerge in other countries, trying to address the disparities between what skills higher education is giving students versus what is valued in the workforce. And personally, I feel like this is a topic that really can't get enough attention because there are some lingering discrepancies. So from this study, again, this is from the Association of American Colleges and Universities, we see that the biggest discrepancies between what employers are seeking and what students believe is important are things like awareness of global trends and experience with cultures outside the US. And at first glance, that might be a net negative for us who are trying to promote study abroad, to say that these are skills that aren't highly valued in the workforce when we see words like global or culture not being valued. But I look at the words um, awareness and current as the issues here, because the spectrum of study abroad experiences that are offered and the outcomes that follow are just too numerous, too diverse to be confined to just awareness and currency on the global issues. And so if you go up on this chart of what is valued by employers, I think we can see that they're looking for applied experiences rather than just awareness, because study abroad encompasses such a broad range of experiences. I think we really can qualify relative outcomes that meet these expectations in the eyes of employers. So I'm going to go ahead to the next slide. And this chart might be much more encouraging because this is where we see more agreed upon values. And working from the bottom up, you can see that study abroad itself is assessed as an applied experience. So I'm glad that 51% of employers really value the experience of study abroad as applicable to the workforce. Going on through, and again, this is just one study, but I think this is a valuable one, just trying to connect the expectations of employers. But going up, you can see words like research, service learning, projects, internships. And from a qualitative view, these are the things that would be viewed very favorably we would expect by employers when they're matched with an experience like study abroad. That's in itself is also an applied experience. So these are the types of applied experience we'll talk about today. First, we want to state that if a student can study for a semester, quarter, year, these are very high impact experiences we strongly encourage. But we know that many highly qualified students are restricted in their study abroad options to summer. So focusing on summer programs and focusing on applied outcomes such as research, internships, or service learning provided to provide opportunities to acquire skills that are strongly valued in the workforce. And we'll speak briefly about the variety of these opportunities through UCEAP. And now I think we'll pivot to the target student populations that we would want to talk about for these types of programs.
Thank you, Noah. So you as an advisor, might be looking for guidance on which students would be well suited for the programs that we're going to be discussing today. On this slide, we're going to have some examples of student characteristics that would be good for these programs, as well as some end goals that can be achieved on these programs. So to start, as Noah mentioned, of course, we love students to study abroad for long periods of time, but if a student comes to you and they say they can't study abroad during the academic year because their major has year-long requirements or sequential academic requirements that they must complete, or they may have some other commitment on campus that they really can't miss out on during the year, you can start to talk to them about these summer programs that won't interfere with their commitments on campus. From there, these additional items are going to help narrow down students' options. So students who have a required experiential learning component as part of their degree program could be a really good fit for these programs. Of course, we always advise that students discuss these options with their major advisor, because if there is a degree requirement that needs to be met, we want to make sure that they talk to you as a major advisor to ensure that the experiential component meets all their degree requirements in terms of hours worked and the end assessment form. Next, students who are in their third and fourth year are often already thinking about what they will do after they graduate, whether that is working or going to graduate school. And they know that adding an experience in a professional setting or a research setting is really going to build out their resume. So students who have that focus on resume building are going to find a lot of value in these programs. And now the key differentiating factor between these programs that we're going to discuss today and pursuing research or internship at home is the desire to add geographic and cultural diversity to their background. Employers are looking for candidates that have experience based in a diverse community with people from diverse backgrounds. Now, of course, University of California itself does offer that opportunity to interact with a diverse community, but there is something really unique and special about living and working in an entirely different country. Students have to adapt to different cultural norms and different communication and styles, which in the end can make them a much more adaptable and flexible employee. The last two items on this slide are actually going to be very specific goals and outcomes for the Python and data science program in Madrid that I'm going to be discussing later on in this presentation. And so you'll get a little bit more information about that program in a bit, but if you are working with any students who want to get experience in programming and or data science before they enter the job market, this is going to be a really great option for them. We're going to now move into some program information, but before I do that, I wanted to let you know, so we're going to cover quite a bit of program information today. You obviously aren't going to memorize it all, so I wanted to give you a little bit of tips and on how to use our tools. So if a student comes to you and they want some advice on these programs, I do recommend using the Find a Program button on our website. So if you go to our website, the UCEAP website, and in the hamburger menu in the top right corner, if you click on that, you'll find this first menu that drops down, and you can click on Find a Program. That gives you a tool which will open up, and you can use the experience type to either select internship or research, and then you can select summer, and that's going to pop out the end result of either summer research or summer internship. So in this example, I did summer internship and it pulled up the 6 programs that match that search. So if you are sitting with a student and they kind of just want an overview of their options for summer internship, you can use this tool, pull it up, show them how to use it, and that'll give you a way to pop into our website and get more detailed program information. Now to move on to the information about the program. So we offer summer internships in 6 locations around the world. In Europe, we have programs in Prague and Berlin. In Asia, we have programs in Singapore, Shanghai, and Bangkok. And in Africa, we have a program in Cape Town. All of these programs are run through partner providers, either CIEE, CEA, or Thammasat University. Working with these partners ensures that we have really strong on-site services for our students while they're abroad. A little bit of information about these internships. So all of the summer internship programs run for 8 weeks, and students are working full time for the duration of their internship. Frequently, when students intern during the regular academic year, they can only dedicate themselves to a part-time internship because they have to work concurrently with their classes. So what's great about these summer programs is that it's an opportunity for students to get a meaningful work experience where they're spending a significant amount of time in the office doing their work. All programs offer placement support through our partners. This means that students do not need to secure an internship on their own. The staff will work with the students prior to departure to determine the background and interests of the students and then match them with suitable internship sponsors. Students may need to participate in a few interviews to find a good match, but they will receive support throughout the process. All programs have a global internship course that runs alongside their internship. The course provides students a space to reflect on the issues that they observe and encounter in their internship setting and contextualize their experience within a culturally diverse workplace. Since students will be spending most of their time in their work setting, this course also gives the students an opportunity to interact with other students who are also going through similar experiences at the same time. For all of the locations, we have access to the syllabus for the global internship course. So if you are working with a student who is planning on petitioning, going on one of these programs and then petitioning for a degree requirement, we are able to get those syllabi for you prior to the start of the program. For all programs, housing is done directly through our partner, and students will be placed in student residences managed by our providers. So students are not required to find their own housing on these specific programs. Students and advisors often ask if there's certain locations that are better for certain majors, and really in principle, most fields or majors can be accommodated in all locations. And lastly, our biggest piece of advice for students applying to these programs is to really be flexible with your internship placement. If students go into the process with a very narrow and very specific idea of what they're going to be doing, they're often setting themselves up for a little bit of a disappointment and a very challenging placement process. So rather than thinking about one specific place, we encourage students to think about questions like, what skills are you trying to develop? Do you want to work in a large company or a small startup? What kind of projects do you enjoy doing? What are your interests outside your major? We often have students who end up doing an internship that's not related to their major at all, and they've had a great experience. We have students who go into fields they would never have previously thought about doing, but they've come out of it with a fresh experience, a fresh perspective. And students often come out of this saying it really helped them on their path, or they find out that this is not a field that they actually want to work in after graduation. And in the end, both are valuable outcomes.
And on to research. And just let me qualify that a lot of times, a lot of the outcomes from research and internships are similar. But I'm going to talk about specifically what our research programs offer. And undergraduate research programs are really in high demand. We've heard that from the campuses, and we're working to add more programs. We have a new addition, for example, next summer in 2024. But currently, we work with our partner institutions to run our research programs. And we feature summer research programs in Hong Kong at the Chinese University of Hong Kong, in Taipei at National Taiwan University, in Japan at Osaka University, and at the University of Tokyo, in Singapore at Singapore University of Technology and Design, and the University of Glasgow in Scotland. Our research programs really vary in structure. They range from the 6 to 8 weeks and from 5 to 8 semester units or 7.5 to 12 quarter units, typically comprising either of a upper division lab course or a research course. One of our programs does have a cultural course in addition to the lab. Some of the varying aspects are also the letter grading versus pass no pass. Some require a letter grade, some require pass no pass. So students do need to understand what the requirements of their respective program they're applying for are. Most programs have a prescribed list of labs or research projects that are published late in the year, and they would have a defined topic with a faculty advisor, and students can pick through those lists and search through those lists and start to feel out a topic or choose a topic, though some locations do allow for independent project design in consultation with a faculty mentor. And the majority of our students just have a typical summer study abroad experience in a pre-arranged dorm over the summer. Some locations will have an apartment or hotel option as well. It's really important for students to identify research projects or design early and before applying, as we found that students who apply before knowing the available projects it leads to a waste of time in the application process, and sometimes they might drop out of the program once they find out that the top research options aren't the right ones they were expecting. So waiting a little bit to understand what the types of opportunities are, I think will yield in a much better success for the students finding the right program for them.
5 minutes.
It's equally important to understand the expectations of the project, as research provides a really rigorous and sometimes challenging academic experience that sometimes students aren't prepared for if they were expecting something other than a really intense summer learning experience. And additionally, the difference in diverse academic environments students experience compared with their experience at their home UC campus, for example, may provide an adjustment period. And while cultural or social programming is usually a feature of our partner summer programs, research students may find less time to spend outside doing activities because they will be so enmeshed into their projects generally. But the rigorous and challenging aspects of research, especially in a new culture, personal and academic, in the condensed timeline of a summer semester or quarter are precisely what make these high skill building opportunities. Students will get to work with the faculty supervisor, sometimes within a team or group, and must demonstrate applied learning and knowledge that results in really tangible and marketable outcomes. I was a committee reviewer for UCEAP's Undergraduate Research Awards this year, and I was really thrilled to see some really high quality submissions of projects from our summer programs that competed on even footing with the semester-based project submissions. So I can see how the students' research projects change their perceptions about their academic career paths, change their goals of what they want to achieve after graduation. And I really was impressed with the high impact that these experiences had. So in conclusion, it's just I want to remind everyone that it's important for students to keep in mind to plan early, to be flexible, to keep the right or choose the right program based on a project, not just a location. And we don't want them to waste any valuable time. So we want them to be as prepared as possible through all aspects of the process. So understanding the expectations and the challenge and the rigor of research opportunities.
Okay, thank you, Noah. So the last program that we're going to talk about today is Python and Data Science in Madrid. This is a 6-week summer program that was designed specifically for UC students. Our academic integration unit surveyed the computer science academic advisors on campuses and found that they were interested in having computer science programming coursework abroad. They also received waitlist data from specific campuses and saw that there's an oversubscription for computer science courses. And lastly, they also received information from UC Berkeley about the popularity of their new, at the time it was new, their lower division data science course. And it was very, very popular. And so we're trying to fill a gap there as well. This program is open to data science majors as well as non-majors, anyone who has an interest in the field. On this program, students are going to take 2 courses, Introduction to Data Science and Python Programming. And the syllabi for these programs are posted to our website, so we have these ahead of time. The program offers students the ability to develop 2 very specific skill sets in programming and data science. Data science is very currently in demand in the job market. The Harvard Business Review published an article in 2012 called Data Scientist, the Sexiest Job of the 21st Century. In February 2022, they provided an update and confirmed that they were, in fact, correct 10 years ago. I don't know about the sexiest, but I can confirm that data science is more in demand than ever from employers. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be a data scientist, but employers are looking for candidates who have an understanding of how to use big data, how to use analytics, and experimentation techniques in their everyday work. So this program really gives students an opportunity to be exposed to data science as they move into the working world. And the program includes a field trip to a local startup so that students can see how data science is being used in their work. And then students then collaborate with that startup to design a data collection and analysis project. So they do get that hands-on experiential learning. And we have run up against our time. I don't think we have any time for questions, but we do want to thank you so much for coming to this session. And please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions about these programs.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.